1, what is your name, please?
My name is Yvette Paris.
Number 2.
My name is Yvette Paris.
Number 3.
My name is Yvette Paris.
Only one of these people is the real Yvette Paris and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel, film and television producer David Niven Jr., actress and recording star Gloria Loring, four-time Super Bowl champion and MVP Lynn Swann, and to tell the truth's very own Kitty Carlisle. And here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Gordon Elliott.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the program. And panel, you look so good. Kitty, that is a beautiful dress, Gloria. You've got beautiful frocks. And guys, what's the story? You didn't tell me you were wearing evening wear.
Well, we didn't have our frocks with us.
I've got to go work at that restaurant when the show is over.
All right. Well, you made me look like a slumlord. I turned out I had to rent this suit. It's one of old Merv Griffin's suits, you know, but you guys look absolutely tremendous. It's got Velcro sides. Okay, let's get right to the story, presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Yvette Paris. I, Yvette Paris, am a former burlesque queen. I modelled my act on such classic greats as Gypsy Rose Lee and Lily St. Cyr. In my book, Queen of Burlesque, I describe how I juggled my professional career with that of wife and mother. Every day, after I packed the children off to school, I then packed my boas and sequins and headed for Times Square. Before I hung up my G-string, I was a member of the Strippers Hall of Fame and was presented the coveted Fanny Award. Signed, Yvette Paris. Welcome, ladies, and we'll find out more about this exiguous stripper, to you, of course, right after this. Welcome back to Tell the Truth. All right, panel, these three people all claim to be Yvette Paris, Queen of Burlesque. So let's start the questioning with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 1, how much did you take off?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Number 2, not even the G-string left?
No.
Number 3, where did you work in Times Square?
I worked at the Show World.
Where's that?
It's on 42nd and Broadway.
Oh, thank you. Number 2, why don't you do it anymore?
I'm writing now.
Number 1, who is your publisher?
Harper and Row.
And number 3, how did you learn to do this?
Well, I saw a few movies, and my mom used to kind of do it around the kitchen to entertain the family.
Imagine what the food must have tasted like. Lynn Swann.
Obviously very spicy dishes.
Yeah.
Number 2, do you dance around the house for your children?
No.
No, you don't. Number 1, what does your husband think of all this?
I think he's probably my biggest fan.
Number 3, did you write the book yourself or do you have a ghostwriter?
No, I wrote it myself.
Number 2, did your act have a theme to it?
Yes. Nudity.
With very subtle undertext. Gloria Loring.
Number 1, was your best routine based on a fantasy, an illusion, any subject matter?
My best routine?
Yes.
I based a lot of my act on the late Gypsy Rose Lee.
All right. Number 1, what was your favorite costume that you began in?
Number 1?
I meant number 3.
Oh,
before
I started
it all...
off in boas and an evening gown and kind of went from there.
All right.
And David Niven Jr.
Thank you. I'm curious, number 1, who put on the makeup for you, or did you put it on yourself?
Myself.
Number 2, did your husband's friends recognize you, or did you do it under a wig or something so they didn't?
Everybody recognized me.
Okay. Do you have a daughter, number 3?
No, I don't.
If you had a daughter, would you like your daughter to do the same job?
No way.
Would you?
I'm sorry, time is up, panel. Great questions. It's time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is fooled completely, the team will receive $3,000. Panel, are you ready to cast your ballots? And if so, Kitty Carlisle, for whom did you vote?
I didn't vote for number 3. She's very pretty and walked very well. Number 2 is hiding something with her boa. Maybe she's pregnant, I don't know. And number 1 kind of looked to me like she had the pizzazz to do it.
Number 1, Kitty Carlisle, Lynn Swan.
Well, I thought number 2 had a nice style about her. She didn't seem to worry about watching those steps as she moved. So
Right.
I voted for number 2.
Okay, had that wiggle in her eye. Gloria.
Well, I suppose something about number 3's answer that if she had a daughter, she would not want her to do it, just somehow sparked something in me, so I went for number 3.
The caring concern, David Niven
So you
Jr.
like my question, didn't you? Well, I thought number 1 looked like a stripper when she walked down more than the other 2. I thought that number 2 has the boa, so that was probably to fool us. And number 3 sounded like she had more of a New York accent, so I figured that that's...
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Okay, oh, sure. Well, the votes are all in. Let's have a look at it. 1 vote for number 1, 1 vote for number 2, and 2 votes for number 3. Will the real Yvette Paris please stand up? Fantastic. Excellent. And you're not pregnant, are you?
No.
No,
But
there
I
you
am-
go.
I was told to hide something.
For the first time in your professional life. Let's find out who our imposters really are. Number 3 got 2 votes.
Yes, I did.
What's your name? What do you do? You did a good job.
Thank you. My name is Dana Gillette, and I'm a food stylist for magazine layouts.
Oh, really? Well, Gloria and David were filled, and number 2, of course, you are the real Yvette Paris. And number 1, your name and occupation.
My name is Logan Walker.
Oh, no.
And I'm a female impersonator for La Cage aux Folles in West Hollywood.
Oh, dear.
Never mind. I thought you were lovely.
Oh, dear. I'm glad you're not dating these days, Kitty. Well, there were 3 incorrect votes at $500 a vote. So your team will receive collectively $1,500, and thank you very much for being here on To Tell the Truth. Thank you. After these few words, we'll be right back with someone who spends time in night court. We're back. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is G. Van Standiford.
Number 2.
My name is G. Van Standifer.
Number 3.
My name is G. Van Standifer.
And it's up to you, panel, to locate the real G. Van Standifer, and here is his story. I, G. Van Standifer, founded the Midnight Basketball League. I got the idea when it was reported that crimes in my hometown had risen by 60% in 1 year. And most of those crimes were committed between 10 p.m. and 2 in the morning. My dream was to get our young men off the street and into a gymnasium to start playing basketball at 10 p.m. The local citizens thought I was crazy, but when we threw up the ball to start our first game, the stands were filled. Since then, crime has dropped more than 50%. I've personally received an award from President Bush, and a movie is being planned about midnight basketball. Signed, G. Van Standifer. Welcome, gentlemen. Good luck, challengers. And let's start the questioning with David Niven Jr.
Thank you. Number 1, what is your hometown?
Gary, Indiana.
Number 2, what was the age of the young men?
17 to 21.
Number 3, when did President Bush give you this award?
April 23rd.
Number 1, who is going to star in the movie about your life?
They hasn't been said yet.
Number 2, is it going to be a movie or a television movie?
Movie.
Number 3. Oh, I lost my question. Save
That's
Brother
right, say Brother Bird. We'll give you that time as credit for the next one. Gloria.
Number 1, how many men do you have in your league or team?
Presently, it's 260.
Number 2, how many teams within that 220 people?
18 teams.
18 teams. Number 3, are other franchises planned? Is this idea traveling across the country?
Yes, it is. I've sent documentation to over 40 cities.
Oh, great. Number 1, who is producing the movie of your story?
Well, it was originally Lorimer.
And
Okay, Lynn Swan, your turn now.
Thank you. Number 2, what is the name of the award that President Bush presented to you?
The Daily Point of Life.
Daily Point of Life.
Right.
Okay. Number 3, what's the cost of this program?
Well, approximately $35,000 for a season.
Okay. Number 1, what's your sky hook like?
What's my sky hook like? I'm not playing. The young people are playing.
Oh, you don't play at all?
No, I administrate.
Okay. Number 2, have any of these players gone on to play basketball in college?
Well, some junior colleges have been scouting up.
Okay.
We'll leave it there. Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 2, were you a social worker before you did this?
No.
Number 3, were you a social worker?
No.
What did you do, number 3?
Retired federal government.
And number 2, what did you do?
I was a counselor.
And number 1, where does the money come from to support these teams?
Well, most of it comes from private industry.
Uh-huh.
And then we do get...
I'm sorry we've got to leave it there. Our apologies. And as you can see, time is up completely. It's time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is filled completely, the team will receive $3,000. Now, panel, if you're ready to cast your votes, we'll start with David Niven Jr.
I thought number 2 sounded like the gentleman when he announced his name at the top. I thought number 3 fumbled about the exact date that President Bush had given him the award. And number 1 sounded the most believable.
Okay, number 1, David. And Gloria, your thoughts?
well, the past couple of days I've been fooled a number of times when someone stumbled or hesitated on, and so I'm going to go with my instinct, and there's a quietness and a seriousness about number 3 that perhaps this is a man who would have done something like that.
Listen to the force, Luke. Lynn.
Well, I hope the force is not with her because I voted for someone else. Nothing personal. So number 3, I didn't vote for you. I didn't vote for number 2 either because although he looks like he'd be a player and he can handle the young men, sometimes I think they'd feel a little threatened. But number 1 seems not very threatening. He seems concerned. So therefore, I voted for number 1, Dad.
Okay, Dad. Kitty.
Well, I may be quite wrong, but I thought number 1 mispronounced his name. I hope it's not the real one. And number 2 looked like a basketball player, so I thought they were trying to fool us. But I voted for number 3, serious former government worker who had the good of the young people at heart.
Well, if it's number 2, this will be embarrassing. Let's have a look. 2 votes for number 1, none for number 2, and 2 votes for number 3. Let's find out who the real crime fighter is. Will the real G. Van Standifer please stand up? Good on you, Gloria. Kitty, congratulations. Now tell me, sir, were you surprised that the president awarded you that medallion, and how did he find out about you?
Well, our program has been on national television 5 times last year. So through the media, I think that was how his program, he has a program he calls the 1,000 Points of Light. And it was through the media that we think that our program came to his attention.
Well, congratulations from everybody here to Tell the Truth. You've done a fine job. Thank you. Let's find out who our imposters really are. Number 2, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Darren Odom, and I'm a sales rep for a long-distance phone company.
And number 1, your name and occupation.
My name is Don Cropper, and I'm a professional photographer here in Los Angeles.
Well, there were 2 incorrect votes at $500 a vote, so your team will receive $1,000. And thank you again, all of you, for being here on To Tell the Truth. Now, We have added something new on To Tell the Truth. It's called One-on-One, and we'll be back to play it with someone from our studio audience right after this. Welcome back, and now it's time to play One-on-One with someone from our studio audience. Burton, who do you have for us today?
Gordon, I'd like you to meet Desi Wilson from Dallas, Texas.
Welcome, Desi.
Hi.
How are you? Now, Desi, you here with the family?
Yes,
Were they with you there?
they're in the back.
Okay, all righty. Right behind you, where they belong. Okay, Desi, we're going to play a game called One-on-One. I want you to meet a gentleman with two stories. Henry Schiff. Welcome, Henry. Now, Henry is going to tell you two stories, only one of which is the truth, Desi. Now, if you can spot the true story, you'll win $500. Henry, what's your first story?
I'm the head plumber at Disneyland. It's my job to keep the park's 113 restrooms and 1,244 toilets running smoothly.
Now, Desi, that may or may not be the truth, so let's listen to Henry's second story.
I train and photograph lizards. I love lizards, and in my home, I live with 40 of them.
All right. Now, panel, to help Desi win that $500, each of you will ask one question about each story. Let's start with story number one, the plumber. Kitty.
Thank you. How often do you use a plunger?
Well, I don't use a plunger. I use a toilet snake.
Lynn.
How many flushes a day do you anticipate? Do you think, maybe?
Millions.
Gloria.
There are inner workings of a toilet that are slightly different. What are the two most popular kinds, most frequently bought kinds?
At Disneyland, we're using the standard price Vista type. We don't use any of the low boy type.
Do you know, Gloria? That's marvelous. David never tuned
How'd you come up with that? Is the plumbing, is Disneyland on a septic tank or attached to the city main?
We use a city main. There's no septic tanks for Disneyland.
Okay, Desi, you've heard story number one and its questions. Now let's talk to story number two. And again, the lizards is the subject. And Kitty, your first question.
Oh, what can you train a lizard to do?
They can sit in chairs.
Imagine they bite also.
Right.
What's your favorite lizard?
I have several. An iguana is my favorite.
Gloria.
What's the rarest kind of lizard that you have?
Sailfin dragon.
David.
What do you feed your lizards?
A variety of things, mostly fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Now, Desi, you've heard the cross-examination. Is Henry, in your opinion, the plumber at Disneyland, or is he the lizard lover?
I think he's a plumber at Disneyland.
Well, Desi, if you're right, you win $500. Henry, what is your true story?
To tell you the truth, I'm a lizard lover.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Desi, you were wrong. But oh, no. Well, we do have a nice gift for you, and thank you for playing one-on-one. Henry, what have you got there? Oh, no. And Henry, for stumping our friend Desi, you'll receive $1,000. We'll be back with Henry Lizard Lover Schiff and his friends after this. We're back with Henry Lizard Lover Schiff. Henry, introduce us to your lizards, will you?
This is Earl, and this is Eldon.
Oh, lovely. They look great in a pair of boots.
Here, I'll just put these two in you.
What do you do with these lizards?
They are going to sit in these chairs. After I just put this guy right here.
Okay. Would you like one? That's no dumb lizard.
You just pet him a little.
I'll hold your hand.
Okay.
Okay.
There you are.
Oh, and what's this little fella do here? You got
This is Fifi.
Fifi.
And she's wearing her frou-frou for the show.
Uh-huh. Is she having fun?
I think so.
Okay. Now that's an interesting wrap you're wearing. See, the animal rights people will love this because it's still alive and you can wear it to evening functions. Now, oh look, Fifi's taking a pose. Can we have a look? Okay. Look, we're gonna look out. We've got the big one. Listen, Henry, while you set him up for the final goodbye, thanks for playing one-on-one. And well, panel as well, thank you also. That's it for this edition of To Tell the Truth. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time.
Tonight on The Amazing Race, a bus station brawl.
I'm tired of being pushed back.
Don't talk to me. Leads to a nauseating conclusion.
Give me a lift.
Oh, my God. The Amazing Race, tonight at 9 on GSN.